looking like? Alright, let's check in on the stream status and see what we're looking like here. Alright, it looks like we've got a pretty clear feed. Solid, solid. I'm liking it. So far, so good.
So that's a 214, because that has the engine similar to the 19.
Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mic you. So, welcome to the stream, everybody. This one was not really promoted, so I'm not sure if we'll have much viewership, but this is Xavier, and today we've got a little guest on board.
This is Gavin. What's up?
You want to take it?
Do I want to take it?
Go for it. Just
Little commentation? Okay, I got you. Alright. This is 890 going to Seattle. We got the perfect sky for spotting tonight. The sun's perfectly blocked by the clouds. Cannot complain at all. Okay, we'll see if we catch it. But we got a Piper PA-46 landing. Little small guy, probably look like an ant next to the big jets. See if we can catch the tail end of that. Little PA-46 action. I'd pay big money to see that thing behind a jet stream. Another midway departure. A320neo. We got Chew the Pika. That's a new one. Little fun fact, Frontier operates the lightest A320neos in the skies. Probably because those cheap seats are so light. Southwest moment, 737-700 to Long Beach. Here comes Canyon Blue Max 8. Got a lot of action on the tarmac. There's a 680 Citation taxiing too. And then coming into land, we got an E175 LR. Let's see where she's coming from. Hold that thought. We actually have a 737-800 from San Francisco first. And then we have that E-Jet from Yuma. Here comes that 890 from San Francisco. This is one registration from Alaska Jet Full.
Nice smoky landing there.
Yeah.
For those of you that are just tuning in, this is a test broadcast from Phoenix Sky Harbor. Today I am accompanied with Gavin Wasco, who is helping commentate with me today as we test out the streaming equipment, check out our broadcasting materials, make sure that everything is up and running.
This is going to be a moment of action. 3 departures at once. We got this E175 to Boise. Excuse my French, wow. And then we got this Max 8 to Ontario. And then after that, we get a little special treat. We got a 680 Citation headed to Las Vegas. So triple departure with a E-Jet landing from Yuma. Silly little fun fact, the E-Jets were designed for the southwestern climate, for hotter climates. They were designed to be better with seawater and to be better with really dry environments, unlike most Embraers, which are designed for Brazil from Brazil. Here comes that 680 Citation. Fun little sight.
that's Michael Crow.
Busy night for 25 right. That rhymes.
Whoa. Whoa. Look at this guy.
Wowee. All right, here goes an max 8 for Ontario. I'm so jealous of every single passenger on these planes. They have the perfect sky for departing. All right, this is an exciting arrival. Our next arrival is at MD-11. Straight to us from Louisville. Figures. I always mix up MD-11s with A320s because their strobe lights look the same. I love the MD-11s because of how slow they can land compared to jets that size. Those things are landing machines. Always bumpy though. There goes a American 800 to San Francisco. It's got those noisy first generation CFM 56 engines. Those things make the plane rattle, so that one I could leave out on. We got a little break in arrivals, but we got some more good departures coming our way. This is like the perfect night. Just like drops.
No, it picks up everything, my boy. Oh, we're looking good. We're looking good.
Beautiful. Too bad the C gates aren't more busy. Usually the C concourse is the first to fill. C concourse is the first to fill. Taxiing to the east right now, we have a A320 Neo headed to San Diego. It's one of the first A320 Neos to be delivered to Frontier in 2018. And it's rocking Jojo the Grizzly Bear. And then just turning right on to runway 25, we have an American A319 headed straight for Las Vegas.
I posted the link online. It's real.
We'll have our next arrival in about 10 minutes. We have a 700 coming from Oakland. It's about 10 minutes away from us, but we got a few good departures, and then it will get maybe a little slow for a few minutes, it looks like. Here goes that American 319 to Las Vegas. We'll catch the tail of it.
There we go. Nailed it. Okay. All right. Back to the camera action. Had to take a minute there to be an influencer, guys. It's departure.
Here goes that A320neo to San Diego. They better get some good sunset pictures from that plane. They're gonna have a great route if the sky stays like this. All right, we have a little slowdown now before we get a few more arrivals in. So we can take a moment to admire that beautiful 800 with the skim tower winglets. Parked at gate D, as that D8 looks like. Concourse D is one of my favorite at the airport. The ceiling is super cool. Oh, hi Lily. I don't know if you're still on here. Thanks for joining us. Shout out to Lily, my bestie from Chicago. She doesn't know a thing about planes. She's probably miserable listening to me talk. But thanks for joining. Phoenix flights does Phoenix have? Depends on the day, usually per day. There's a daily flight on American Airlines to London on a 777.
Lily says she knows everything about planes.
I would agree with that. She does most of the talking at the airport. Other than that, though, Volaris operates a few routes, Aeromexico operates a few routes, and then there's a lot of Canadian routes. So from day to day, usually the weekends, there's around 8 to 12, and then during the weeks, you'll see something closer to 6. But a lot of those flights do repeat. The one bummer about Phoenix is it's a big narrow-body airport, tons of narrow-body traffic, but in terms of wide bodies, you only see a few a day. But it makes for some kind of unique spotting because you get traffic like LAX, but it's mostly narrow bodies and occasional military jets. Hopefully, eventually, we can do a military stream when we see some of these KC-135s doing testing.
They're everywhere. That would be so cool to stream.
Let's go.
Hope y'all are having a fantastic evening.
And hello to Andy. Shout out to Andy. Hello to you too. All right, we finally got that arrival. Let's see. Here comes 767-300 from Memphis, operated by FedEx. Looks like a, let's see. Looks like this plane was just transferred to FedEx. New registration number for this aircraft. Who doesn't love the sound of reverse thrusters? especially on an 80s bird. In about 3 to 4 minutes, we'll have a 737-700 coming in from Auckland. Excuse me, Oakland, not Auckland. You will also be seeing the United Airlines 737-800 rocking the Star Alliance livery. That's coming to us from San Francisco in about 10 minutes. It's just at 6,000 feet now. We should see the landing lights on soon.
Peyton says that view upgrade is insane. That's right. Going from Chicago to Phoenix, there is quite an upgrade in the landscape.
Yeah, we're both from Chicago, so we're both very amazed by mountains still.
It's still new. It's still new to us.
Yup.
We still look out every morning and we're like, holy smokes.
Yep.
It's not just corn.
The heat was another thing too. Oh my gosh.
That was an
Those
adjustment.
first
for
few
sure.
weeks here, holy mackerel. All right. Here comes some fancy California people, probably some Disney adults from Oakland. Fast landing, typical for the 700. Let's see if they bounce. There we go, a little bounce action. Hopefully no one lost their Mickey ears. And wow, they really slammed those brakes. It's always the 737 captains, man. Another little special treat. You have a Contour Embraer ERJ 135. It's a 24-year-old plane, moving with the years. It's on the older age for Contour's fleet. Yeah, I won't lie to you, Peyton. I've definitely melted in the Arizona heat. I'm used to Wisconsin weather and Chicago weather. Definitely not this, but Liquid IV saved my life. So we're doing good now. We're about to have a great winter season. No more snow boots, hopefully. Knock on wood.
If it snows here, we got a bigger problem.
Yeah, I so agree with that. Hopefully when I'm flying out, I will not have to be de-iced. That's going to be a life-changing moment for me. Ooh, we got another special arrival coming in. Let's see if we can catch her. It's a Pilatus PC-12. It's actually probably my favorite turboprop in the sky. It's kind of like the Bentley of private planes. Very classy. PC-12s were designed to fly in the Alps for businessmen who were trying to commute to smaller communities. However, now it's pretty much owned by guys who live in California and own a tech startup company. So, still classy, but I don't think it was how Pilatus intended to be classy. Next up on the landing list comes the United Airlines Star Alliance livery, 737-800 from San Francisco. Believe it or not, United still operates 3 or 4 more routes into Phoenix after this arrival. That's a very heavy route out of Phoenix to San Francisco. And it's great because it's a huge variety of planes, anywhere from 57s to 777s. However, as of lately, it's been a lot of 737s, so hopefully we can start to see some cooler stuff doing that route soon. It's one of United's older 737-800s, delivered in 1998. Will he butter? We will find out. Beautiful. Representing that livery well.
Look at that sunset. Wow.
I'd pay to live on the top of this parking deck. Just not during the summer or the day. Next on the departure side, we have a A320neo by Frontier headed to Dallas. Also a fairly old A320neo for Frontier's fleet, delivered in 2019. The A320neo is pretty rare in U.S. skies. You really only see it operated by Frontier and Spirit. So definitely a cool sight, especially with this background. This has Ichabod, the whooping crane tail. I'm yet to hear that one, I swear. There's a new Frontier animal every day, I think.
Frontier's just making them up at this point.
Yeah, they're making up animals at this point. I swear I don't remember any of these from school. Coming into land now is a ex-US Airways A321-200 from Los Angeles. I should have tried to catch this thing home instead of doing the drive today.
Try this out. See how it looks.
Seems to be turning into 737 City a little bit tonight. Next we have a 700 coming from Santa Ana. Shortly though, we will have a Denver Air Connection C-26 Metroliner. An oldie but a goodie. I've always been so confused by Denver Air Connection as an airline, but I think they have one of the weirdest and coolest fleets in the sky. It's taxiing with its landing lights and its strobe light on. I guess he really wants to be seen. He wants to show off next to the boring corporate Southwest people. Ugh. Headed to Cortez. Don't ask me where that is.
Don't know, don't care.
Just above that comes that Santa Ana 737-700. And then racing that C-26 to the runway is a 737 inbound from Burbank, with that landed to the south. Hopefully we can get a good engine note on that C-26. When you're at the right spot, they sound great. There we go. I'll stop talking. You guys got to admire those with me. One thing I've always wondered, when you fly a plane that small out of an airport this big, that jet stream must be miserable sometimes. I don't think I'd like that very much. I'm also definitely too tall for a C-26, but oh well, that won't stop me. Next, taking off, is an American E175 LR headed to Durango. And then landing right along next to it is a 737 from Dallas Love Field. Looks like it's going to be bumpy. Let's see. Beautiful. Here goes that E-Jet to Durango. It sounds like a full power takeoff. It's not often that you hear the E-Jet have an engine whine like that. Usually on longer routes like this, regardless of the airport, E-Jets do full throttle takeoffs. Usually they can take off at about 85% power, but once they get overweight, apparently from what I've heard, they're a lot harder to fly. But who knows, the crew could just be dramatic.
Currently got about 30 of you tuned into this test stream. Hopefully we'll ramp that up a little bit now that I've just posted it on social media. Get a bunch of y'all tuned in for this very first debut stream at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Again, today I'm joined by Gavin, who is your secondary commentator.
Hello, hello. Here comes a CRJ 700. I almost said Bombardier. Technically, it's Mitsubishi now, since they now own the program. But still the same plane. Don't worry, it's not like the economy cars you rent. The type of CRJ 700 I want to fly on is United's CRJ 550. It's the same as the 700. But with less seats, they seem like a dream. But I only really ever see those out of Chicago. So maybe I do need to go home for the weekend. After that comes another E175 from Tucson. Hopefully there's no U of A fans on there. We have enough here.
Get 'em out, get 'em out. Ain't no Baron down here. This is Sun Devil territory.
A 22-minute flight from Tucson today. Sometimes I wonder if it's just faster to drive, but I'd always take an excuse to fly too. Looks like we have some action at the D gates. Here comes that 737 from Santa Ana. Not as fast of a Southwest taxi as I like to see, but he's just driving safe. Here goes a CRJ 700 to Fresno.
I'll give y'all a quick tower shot real quick too. There we go.
Got another Southwest arrival. Here comes that 700 from Dallas. Looks like going into gate C4. We have another little break in arrivals, but we have multiple departures coming up. We have a Southwest Max 8 going to Nashville. If you could see some of that Boeing Sky Interior lighting in the cabin now that it's pushed back. I don't know if you guys have ever flown with the Sky Interior. It is insanely cool. It's like the nightclub of the skies. Perfect for Southwest. We also have Frontier A321-200. That's headed to Portland. And then after both of those, we have a Southwest Max 8 headed to Atlanta. If you go 25 left right now, we have Embraer Praetor 500. That's headed to Teterboro. Sharky. We're about to have a little traffic on the taxiway because coming our way from the North Terminal, we have a American E175 headed to San Luis. You can hear the startup of that Max 8. Those CFM leaps are so quiet, but they love to whine, don't they?
Quick view of Tempe for all you.
Turning onto the runway now is that Frontier A320 headed to Portland. Rocking the fin, the Oceanic white tip shark livery. That's a little bit of a mouthful.
A little bit.
And you can also see that American E-Jet following up right behind it. This is an older A321, so we hopefully will get a decent engine buzz. This next departure is at E175 to San Luis. Taxiing, we have 737-700 from Denver. Another full power E-Jet takeoff. We have a little traffic jam in the C gate alleyway. 737 Madness. Turning into the mezzanine right now is that 737 from Denver. And just departing is 737-800 going to Chicago O'Hare. Taxiing behind that MAX 8, we have another MAX 8 headed to Atlanta. And then behind that, we got a rare sighting. Sun Country Airlines headed to Minneapolis. I always forget Sun Country exists, I won't lie. Arriving, we have a 737-700 from Austin, Texas. Looks like it's going to be racing this MAX 8 to Atlanta. Seeing the last of the sunlight for the day. All the Christmas lights are turned on the ground. Perfect weather at the airport today. Here goes the Sun Country 800 to Minneapolis. About a 5.5 hour flight. Turning on at 25 center goes our flight to Chicago O'Hare. I hope they pack sweatpants. I think it's getting cold there now. Next we have American E175LR going to Seattle Tacoma. Behind that we have an A321-200 to San Francisco. After that we should see this MAX 8 departing for Atlanta. And then just pushing back from the C concourse we have a 737-700 headed to Dallas. But wait, there's more. After that, we have a CRJ 700 headed to Flagstaff. Got a busy next several minutes. After that, we have another A321, and then we have a few arrivals coming in. Stay posted. Coming in the land, we have yet another Pilatus PC-12. They must have known I'm here. Looks like he is arriving from Yuma, California. Now departing is that American A321 to San Francisco. Planes in every direction waiting to get onto the runway, so stay tuned for some more departures. One way to tell if you're looking at a first generation A321 or an A321neo is by that strobe light behind the tail. Only the first generation A321 has that. The neo does not, so that's a little way to differentiate them. There she goes to San Francisco. Leaving now is that CRJ 700 going to Flagstaff. About a 30-minute flight. Learjet 60 landing from Fort Lauderdale. It's a long flight for a Learjet, about 4.5 hours, give or take. Departing now, we have an American A321-200 to Santa Ana. About to have a herd of Southwest planes. First up is this MAX 8 to Nashville. We also have that 737 arriving from Austin. Looks like into gate C6. Here goes that MAX 8 to Nashville. Landing alongside this MAX 8 is an American A321-200 from Los Angeles. Leaving now is another MAX 8 headed to Columbus, Ohio. Now we have a 737-700 heading for San Diego. After that, we have a 737-800 heading for Albuquerque. Coming soon, we'll have a little break from American and Southwest. We have a United 737-900 heading for Chicago O'Hare. Up next is a 737-700 going to Dallas. Taxiing by us right now is a 737 MAX 8 from Salt Lake City. Here goes that 737-900LR to O'Hare. So shout out to everybody watching from Chicago. In about 3.5 hours, you can watch this guy land. Here we have another San Diego flight, American A319-100. There's some good engine buzz for your ears. Looks like we have a 737-800 heading for Louisville. And just holding on the runway right now, we have an American A321-200 heading to Dallas-Fort Worth. We still have about 5-10 minutes before we get any more arrivals. But we still got some departure action coming up soon. Hopefully we can get a good engine note from this view. We got the strobes on that A321, so let's watch for that departure. Got a second departure on the tarmac. There goes that A321. This one has the sharklets. This A321 was one of the first to get delivered to American that wasn't bought by US Airways. It was delivered in 2015, almost 10 years old. Pardon me, I dropped my phone. Taxiing by us right now, we have a Max 8 in that canyon blue livery, and that's headed for Tulsa, Oklahoma.
In the comments, it looks like we've got Freedom 1 at the airport right now, according to some of you viewing the stream right now. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that one. Currently following the Southwest Canyon Blue. Some of y'all also talking about the heat in the chat. It certainly is toasty today. There was a high of about 95, but again, you are all correct. Arizona is not all hot, and it's not always hot, but Phoenix is the hottest city in America. So there certainly is no shortage of high temperatures on the daily.
Here goes an American Max 8 to Miami International.
Dee's asking, can we see your setup? It's actually quite small. Yeah, I'll switch my phone in a minute so you guys can all see the setup. We are on top of the economy parking garage here at Phoenix Sky Harbor right now. That is our broadcast location for tonight. Real quick, I'll switch to my phone so that you guys can see our current spotting setup. Give me just one moment, get that prepared. Got a very low-key setup today, nothing too fancy or spectacular. Let's see, can we stream from the phone? I did it earlier today, but I cannot remember if it'll just let me do it or if I have to do something fun. Let's take a gander. Alright, it's looking like I unfortunately cannot connect to my phone right now, but I'll take a photo of the setup and post it on our YouTube channel in the community section for all of y'all to take a gander at. There we go. Let us know in the comments if you got any questions. This is our very first time spotting at Phoenix, so it's definitely something new to the channel here at XLRSAVIATION Live, but we're glad to be doing this. These, we actually are based out of Phoenix for now for school, so not just here to spot, here for school. Spotting just happens to be a little side hobby, trying to figure out how to make it work. So yeah, hopefully you guys can all look forward to some future broadcasts here at Sky Harbor in the coming weeks and coming months. We'll see, but I'd love to get tradition going here. These from Chandler area. Yes, definitely familiar with that. Know lots of people from that area as well.
This 737-800 is heading for Louisville, Kentucky. Arriving now, we have a Southwest 737-790 coming from Los Angeles. Here goes that 737-800 bound for Houston. We have a little break in ground traffic for about 5 minutes. Our next arrival is an American E-175 coming from San Antonio, Texas. After that, we'll have a Southwest 737-700 coming from Tampa.
Bit of a momentary pause in action here.
I have seen the Air Force One 707 in Tucson. That's a really great museum. If you ever get the chance, definitely go there and take a guided tour. Their tour guides are all volunteers, and a lot are retired pilots based in Phoenix. So there's some really cool people to talk to. Taxiing to runway 25 right now. We have another Contour ERJ 135. This is headed for Moab. Not too long of a flight, about a 45-minute to an hour and a half flight, depending on the weather, since this jet will be flying right over the Rockies. Can give or take quite a bit. Arriving right now is that American E-175 from San Antonio.
Get that up on the screen for you in just a moment here.
Here comes that E-175. Here goes that ERJ 135, operated by Contour Airlines. Pushing back right now is a Southwest Max 8 headed to Denver, Colorado. Landing in the next few minutes there is this 737-700 from Tampa. Get another good angle of that sky interior through those windows. Definitely the best part of flying Southwest at night, especially on their newer jets. Here comes that Tampa jet now. Four hours on the dot. I bet that crew is very proud of that. Is that CFM LEAP engine? One of the best startups money can buy. I don't think I can decide if it sounds better from inside or outside the plane.
Current temperature here in Phoenix, 84 degrees. Clear skies, sun has set. Light wind. Current smell, French fries and hamburgers.
I smell it too. I was trying to figure out what it was, but I think you're right on. We're smelling some of that food from the terminal. Arriving now, we have American E175 LR from Santa Barbara. We'll be seeing our next arrival in about 5 minutes. We have an American A321neo coming from Orlando. A few more departures coming soon. First we have the Southwest Max 8 from Denver. After that, we have a Las Vegas bound 737-700 operated by Southwest. Hear that second engine start. Music to the ears. Here comes that Vegas bound 700 now. Looks like it's going to be close to racing. This A321neo coming in from Orlando. This Max 8 just came in from Portland.
Real quick, we're gonna do a battery swap on the camera. Give us about 10 seconds here. We're gonna lose power for just a moment here as we swap out the batteries. All right, we are back, loaded with a fresh battery, ready for some more spotting.
Departing now is that Max 8 for Denver. It's going to be racing the arriving American 737-800 coming from Tampa, Florida.
Get a quick manual shot. Give me just a moment to take this off the tripod. We've got an arrival coming in here. Mount this back on the tripod here.
Now we got a couple American jets returning to their home state. This A320-200 is heading to San Antonio. After that, we have a Max 8 headed to Austin. Tagging along behind them, we have a, looks like a diversion from Memphis to Phoenix, intended for a Los Angeles arrival, but looks like she landed here. So I'm assuming now it's being taken all the way on its last leg to Los Angeles. Now I'm curious what the reason for the diversion was. Here comes that 737-700 from Houston. Looks like it's going to be erasing this Max 8 to Austin. Here goes this 767-300, operated by FedEx to Los Angeles. Gonna get a good engine sound here, folks. Waiting for a few planes to cross the runway before this 767 takes its final leg to Los Angeles Airport. It's diverted to Phoenix, so hopefully they make it there in one piece, quickly and safely. Here she goes. Let's hope for a good spool up. Love me a good wide-body departure out of Phoenix. Got a little guy landing now. Let's see. Coming to us from Flagstaff, Cessna 182P, also known as the Skyline. Gate C4, the 737-700 is headed for Indianapolis, departing in about 5 minutes. Arriving, we have a MAX 8 coming from Sacramento, California. Turning onto the runway now, we have American E-175LR headed for Memphis, Tennessee. Here goes that 737-700 to Indianapolis. Arriving alongside the E-Jet, we have a CRJ 700 from Oklahoma City. This is an American 737-800 bound for Denver. Bound for Denver. Behind that, so WestJet 737-700 headed back to its home in Calgary. Arriving now, we have another ERJ, or excuse me, I misspoke. We have a MAX 8 followed by a ERJ. This MAX 8 is coming from Miami International. Departing soon, we have that WestJet 737-700 to Calgary. Quite a few departures headed our way. Taxiing to the runway right now. We have a Southwest MAX 9 headed to Denver. Departing next is a Southwest 737-700 heading for Burbank. Burbank's one of the hardest arrivals in the country, so not a super pilot-friendly route. Due to the mountains and the LA airspace, the approach into Burbank is usually a steep and bumpy one. Departing next is this Alaska 737-800 heading to Portland, Oregon. Next departure is definitely a little smaller. Here comes that Beechcraft 400 XP. Can't get a route out of it, so I'm not too sure where it's going. About a 1,500 mile range, I would say, realistically. So I'd figure somewhere in there. So use your imagination. Pretend this is you on this plane. Manifest where you want to go. This is our gift to you, free private jet flight. Almost sounds like a turbofan. Have a parallel arrival and departure. The E-175 is departing for Des Moines, Iowa. And coming in, we have a Southwest Airlines MAX 8 from San Diego. Here goes that 737-700 heading for Indianapolis.
If you were asking who is narrating the stream tonight, currently Gavin is our narrator for the night. I am Xavier running the camera, live from Phoenix Sky Harbor. We'll likely do about 15 more minutes of broadcast. This is mostly to statistically test out and figure out how long batteries can run and everything. Make sure that I'm able to do some daytime streams with the batteries that we've got with us. So we'll likely wrap up in just about 15 minutes, around 7:30 Mountain Standard Time.
Our next departure, we have a Southwest 737-700 heading to Portland. Got a couple 737-700s. That seems to be the theme of the stream tonight. However, after that, we have a 737 MAX 9 operated by Alaska headed to Anchorage, not Seattle. Arriving alongside this 737 MAX 9, we have a oldie but a goodie, a Learjet 35A. People always say these jets look more like spaceships than they do planes. They also have some of the narrowest wings in the sky. They are pretty odd-looking planes. Pretty agile, I've heard. I've never flown on one. I'm not a private jet person. Here goes Southwest 737-700, Santa Ana bound. One more departure before we get a little slowdown. Then we'll have a few regional jets that we'll see before the stream ends. This A321-200 is headed to Chicago O'Hare. Perfect night for flying. Slight winds out of the northwest, only about 8-mile-per-hour gusts, so easy night to fly. Not a cloud in the sky right now. Coming up, we have a couple CRJs. This first one, we have a CRJ 700 heading for Oklahoma City. Taxiing south towards 25, so. East Mar Vista. My name's Gavin. I'm a friend of Xavier's from college. I'm joining him on his stream tonight.
Again, we'll be live for just about 10 more minutes until we wrap up for the night. This was a solid test broadcast, and our future broadcasts will be publicized significantly more. Try to get a good handful of y'all viewing on the future broadcasts. Get back to our typical 300-400 that we generally have on these broadcasts.
Departing now, that's that CRJ 700 for going to Oklahoma City. This is a fun route to fly if you're an enthusiast for regional jets. It's operated by almost every aircraft in American Eagle's fleet. That includes the CRJ 200, the CRJ 700, and occasionally a CRJ 900. Also used to be operated by the E190 out of Los Angeles, but now they just operate the E175 out of Phoenix and the 737-800 out of Los Angeles. It's a good route to do if you want to fly a variety of aircraft. A few more departures coming our way. We first have the Southwest 737-800 heading to Salt Lake City. Those of you who were on the stream earlier, you saw this jet arrive.
Says Cardinals are over Mesa Gateway, so that may have to be our final arrival of the night if it does end up arriving here on the current runway we've got our stream going off of.
Arriving alongside this 737 is an American Airlines A319 coming to us from Tucson, Arizona. Some more Cardinals fans, not a good sign. Hopefully, eventually, we can go to Mesa Gateway to do a stream. I've been working on finding some good spotting locations at some of the airports in the greater area so we can mix it up a little bit. Mesa's a little hard because it's kind of surrounded by a weird kind of town area, and there's not a ton of higher buildings to get a good view, but I'm in a Facebook group, so hopefully I'll see something soon. Departing right now. It's a St. Louis bound 737-800. This was one of American's last 737 next generations to get delivered before the MAX arrived in American's fleet. This aircraft was built in 2015. However, it is part of the group of 737s that were parked due to fleet transfers. So historically, if you would have gone to Dallas-Fort Worth for a few years before 2020, you could see dozens of American 737s parked outside the hangars. It was kind of a weird sight, kind of a pre-show to what COVID would do. This may be our last departure of the night. I think we have one or two more arrivals. This American A321 is headed for San Diego. Here's a good question for you guys. Do you prefer the A321 with the sharklets or with the wingtip fences? It's a very common argument I've had with people of which they prefer. Arriving is a Beechcraft C90, also known as the Beech King Air. Pretty cool plane, as they can also be configured with pontoons, and they are interchangeable. However, I would say they are a quite pricey plane to own and operate, from what I've heard. Still cool though, you can take one of those anywhere you wanted. It's like the Toyota RAV4 of the skies, you could say.
All right, we'll probably catch one last arrival for the broadcast before we wrap things up for the night. Thank you to the select handful of you that are tuned in right now. Glad to have you joining us for this little test stream. Glad everything's going pretty smoothly. We've got stable connection. Nothing's died. So far, so good.
Our next arrival is something a little special. We have a Boeing 777-200ER owned by the Arizona Cardinals.
Great way to wrap up the broadcast.
Yeah, so one of one. That's going to be arriving onto 25 Center, so we're going to get a good view. Right after that, we have yet another 737-800. So even more excitement after the Cardinals jet.
All right, everybody, that'll do it. It is 7:30 p.m. here in Phoenix, Arizona. That was a great final arrival for the broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a wonderful rest of your night. We're looking forward to bringing some more broadcasts to you all here from Phoenix Sky Harbor. But until then, signing off. Have a great night.